You guys ready to start?
Not really.
Oh my! What a slam!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this year's season of The Talents, the first episode. I'm Arthur Balin.
I'm Steve Mackley.
And we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. A lot of things have happened since we've come back earlier in the month. So let's get right to it. The biggest thing to talk about this week is obviously the BC football team. They went down to Virginia Tech and just struggled mightily. Steve, what went wrong?
Well, Arthur, coming to the game, I had expectations. Like, all right, this is a proving ground game. Let's show the world that we can hang with what I think most people coming into the week would have considered a decent ACC team. After the week, I think they're a lot better than we thought, and we're not as good as we thought. But a lot went wrong. The offensive game plan was way too complicated, and because of that, they got nothing done. I don't think Patrick Towles is the issue. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Towles is the problem that we're struggling. Do I think he's the best quarterback in the country? No. But it's this insistence on running the ball, often running the ball right in the middle of the line for usually 0 yards. And I think combining that with the receivers who either aren't at ACC speed or will never be there. Maybe they can get there one day. A lot of doubts about Michael Walker and his ability. I think maybe Thad Smith should be playing ahead of him. And Jeff Smith was really a non-factor, being really the only guy who could stretch the field against a pretty good defense and a good secondary that Virginia Tech has. And the defense just, I don't know, maybe they're just not as good as they were last year. So a lot went wrong. When you lose 49-0, it's pretty much bad on every single front, except for Mike Knoll, who had a great game punting.
Well, I mean, he had to. He got a lot of practice.
Well, he could have also had a bad game.
It's true.
But
That's fair. But and I agree with you. I think Patrick Towles by no means should be expected to be the best quarterback in the country. He definitely has his faults, but I think he has the tools available to do well. But I think he hit the nail right on the head. I think Dazio's insistence, or just the team's insistence on running the ball up the gut, is just going to fail more often than not. And it's concerning to me from a BC football fan standpoint. You know, this week Steve Dazio said that they need to improve on the running game. They need to improve, but you really shouldn't double down on the running game as the hill you die on.
well, when your feature back runs for 2 yards for a whole game,
Well,
I
to be
think
fair, everybody struggled.
Well, no, sure, but I think his idea that, we need to improve the running game, well, of course, Coach. Of course we have to improve on the running game. But is running game even working? Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and say, like, all right, they need to just turn into like Baylor and start, airmailing it downfield.
BC will never be that team.
They can't. That team doesn't have this kind of talent, but the line seems to be better at pass protection than run protection. And you have a couple guys that appear to have some speed. So they got to use this week against Wagner for the right reasons. I mean, they're, by all accounts, no matter how bad or good you think BC football is, should really handle Wagner with no problem. So they should use this as not the game to improve on them running up the gut, but on them improving their downfield game in whatever way you want to do that. So there's a lot to work on. I don't think the run game, at least the line, is at where Adazio either thinks it's at or tells the press that it's at. But this is an important week to at least improve on some things and start getting into some semblance of a team, hopefully by Syracuse in a month.
Certainly a lot of things to work on, so we'll move from the field turf to the ice. BC men's ice hockey, the season is coming up. What are you expecting from the team?
Not the same as last year.
Yeah.
I've said it all last year. I've always been the proponent of you got a good goalie, you got a good team, and they had a great goalie last year in Demko. Definitely some losses. Colin White should be even better, and definitely good to have him back. Maybe the years are counting down on Jerry York and how much longer he'll be here, but the recruiting class is good again. They have some exciting games. They have Arizona State coming in, and we'll be back out to Arizona State next season. So it should be an exciting season. And with the basketball team still having a lot of question marks, they're definitely the team to watch this winter.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. They're definitely not going to be as good as they were last year. I think a Beanpot loss is definitely something that BC fans should be expecting. BU is going to be very dominant. They are probably the favorites right now to win the conference and certainly a national championship contender. But I don't think the sky is necessarily falling for the program.
No, I
as
wouldn't
well.
say so.
I think despite the attrition, they do have some recruits coming in, and depending on how well they assimilate, is really going to dictate how good this team is going to be. But the problem is what separates the team from last year from this year's team is, the depth. You can roll out a first line, a solid first line. You can roll out a solid second line. You can roll out a solid third line. The first line is going to be good. I think there's a lot of talent on the first line. But then when you go on the second and third line, you have some freshmen, and they're going to get some significant ice time early, and it's going to be sink or swim for them. If they swim, that's great for the program, and it's good for the team, and it means that they're going to exceed expectations, I think. But if they sink, BC's going to have a little bit of a problem. They do have a lot of talent on the team. Joe Wall is probably going to be the starting goaltender for the team this year. Is a very highly touted recruit from the National Team Development Program. He is going to be, I think, not as good as Thatcher Demko right off the bat, but he's certainly going to be a serviceable replacement. But ultimately, it's going to be what happens in the front. They're not. It's not going to be the sort of run the puck up the sort of outrunning you or outskating you the way like Miles Wood would, or like Colin White really is, I think, the only player on the team that has like sort of breakout speed.
At least returning player.
Oh yeah, definitely returning. Like some of the things you saw last year when Colin White or Miles Wood would play sort of near the point on the power play and try and intercept a puck when the defensemen are passing it around. You're not really going to see a whole lot of that because nobody on the team, except for Colin White, has that kind of speed where they can get away from out of the defensive zone and get a breakaway. You're not going to see a lot of that. But I think you're going to see something similar to what we saw 2 years ago, where they're more defensive-minded but still have the ability to attack. So we'll keep an eye on that. So for Steve Mackley and Arthur Balin, well, thank you for watching. Have a good night.